Good everyone, today's video today is probably one of the most funny vehicles I've ever played. The review on the FM4344, aka the Derp Swede. This thing is a barrel of laughs, pun intended. Like, this tank started out being a bit, it's okay, to what the hell is this thing? So the FM4344 appears to be based on a Swedish built but technically licensed Czech 38 chassis, aka the LTVZ 38 or however the hell you say it. And it essentially takes that hull and puts a big ass 150mm recoilless rifle with 10 rounds, that's all you get, and actually puts on decent armor as well. So the FM4344 takes, as I said, the LTVZ38 and basically turns it up to whatever the dial goes up to, really. It That 150 mil is extremely powerful, but it does have a couple of flaws, which I'm going to point out. So, before we begin, let's go over the armor. 50mm of armor on the front, 50mm around the barrel and the casemate, and 30 around the sides of that, which for a for a derp gun actually isn't that bad. I mean, you've got to give it credit. The front armor on this thing is actually pretty strong, and you're going to see that in this battle. And that's the thing. A lot of people underestimate this thing. They just think, oh, it's a derp gun. It should have like 20mm front armor. It doesn't. It has 50, and it's actually pretty strong. You can afford to actually angle this thing as well, but also watch out for people going for this shot here. But to be honest, the armor just seemed to do really well. I mean, it only really struggled against the high penny rounds of lower tier. I don't know why it's set to realistic, but all I'll say is this thing is an absolute barrel of laughs. I mean, just look at this gun breach. I really want to know where they got this idea from, but let me tell you, this thing is one special vehicle. So let's go over the gun, and you're going to see exactly how hard it is to aim this thing. As I said, 150mm gun, recoilless rifle, and the muzzle velocity is a mere 285 meters a second. That is not replicated in the gun sight. It feels more like 100 meters a second. This means that long-range sniping is almost impossible unless you know the exact range. So my recommendation is to stick close to areas where people are just going to drive straight in front of your gun at literally no distance so you can shotgun them like some sort of artillery out of one of the tanks. And with 48mm of penetration, the only things you're really going to struggle to kill are B1s. But to be honest, if you aim for the turret ring, it's killing it one shot. It doesn't care. So me and Derp Angel actually messed around with this thing, and he has to admit this is probably one of the most fun-looking dirt vehicles that he's ever seen in his life. And I'm fairly certain he's going to like that. Side armor, by the way, is 15mm, and the rear armor is even worse at 10. So if you get flanked, and obviously the open area is obviously open to the elements and machine gun fire, you've got 3 crew members sat in the back, 2 in the front, and this whole amount of machine gun actually comes in useful in this battle. Unfortunately, though, since the machine gunner had to replace a crew member in the top, I think it was the gunner, I do lose access to the machine gun. So if you lose a crew member anywhere, this guy replaces it. So just be aware that your 8mm machine gun may not be able to be used all the time. So before I continue, let's go over the stats of the vehicle to see how I did in it. Where is it? The Swedish names are very confusing. 15 ground kills, 5 deaths. Most of my deaths were to aircraft and artillery. This thing is very vulnerable in the back area. And obviously, if you lose just a machine gunner in the front and he doesn't replace anyone, all it takes is either a flanking vehicle or a single artillery round to land near the back of the vehicle, and you're kind of screwed. But is this thing worth your time? Definitely. It does take some practice, but trust me, this thing is a lot of fun. You are absolutely going to love this little vehicle. I can guarantee you that. So this battle actually got the vehicle spaded. This battle was simply insane, to put it simply. this battle got the vehicle done and dusted, and I was so happy to just have such an amazing game in a vehicle that I didn't think I'd get such a good game in. Now, you're going to notice that I do actually run out of ammunition in this one, and I'm going to point out what I should have done and where you guys can learn from it. So, let's get on the move, shall we? Stock mobility of this vehicle, because that's what it was in this battle, it's actually pretty impressive. You're going to see once it gets on the road and gets moving a bit. And I was actually rather surprised at its mobility. It's rather surprising because you don't expect this thing to be that fast. And yet all of a sudden, it is fast. It's unusual because you don't expect a vehicle like this to be that quick, but it's already up to near its top speed already. It just doesn't care. It's very nice to drive, very easy to drive, and it's just a nice vehicle overall. Now you're going to have to watch the gun elevation and gun depression. The gun depression is just 4 degrees and the gun elevation is just 10. Which kind of defeats the purpose of this vehicle, because I don't know what this vehicle was used for. I didn't really do much research into it. But to me, this thing would be some sort of artillery piece. So, A, why is it only carrying 10 rounds? Surely you'd want more than 10. And why is the gun elevation only, what, 10 degrees? And I just don't understand it. What was this vehicle used for? If anyone can inform me in the comments, that'd be nice. Because I literally don't have a clue. So here, obviously, I'm parked here waiting for an enemy vehicle. There's a M1340 you can see there, and there's also a Panzer III to his left. And I just don't understand, like, what this is about. Like, surely this vehicle, if it was an artillery piece, would have in the region of about, what, 80 gun elevation? I don't understand it, but like I say, if you do know, please do let me know. So I was waiting, and obviously there was a guy up there, a squeezy boy, wanting to get onto the, or get into the sniping spot and start shooting at my team. The 8mm machine gun actually fended him off slightly later on, but this poor M1441 couldn't see me through the rock, and that's what the gun does if it hits. Kill number 1. And you can see I'm using the whole mountain machine gun to basically go like, go away. I'm using it as a fly swatter at this point. But that little 8mm machine gun, even though I don't get much use out of it, is going to save my life. I can barely deem you that. So I'm reversing to turn the vehicle around because obviously the Panzer III is potentially flanking me. And I want to make sure he doesn't. So there's actually an AS-42 up there and I didn't see it because obviously I was focusing this Panzer III. And this poor Panzer III. I just decided gun sight was too silly. And I just gunship him. So he takes out the gunner, and at this point I'm thinking, right, hull mounted machine gun. And that is the only time the hull mounted machine gun actually saved me, second and third kill. Unfortunately, no, I don't get to use that machine gun anymore, because obviously I don't have the spare retard yet in this battle. And I also don't have the, well, I've got no gun either, so yeah. But I have to admit, this thing is just a barrel of laughs. I would really love to know what kind of crazy Swedish person thought of this thing, because my god, this thing is derpy. So I'm just going to jump us ahead again, because, well, this is a funny moment in a moment. I'm going to take a shot at this Horo, and obviously I didn't know the range. I thought it was about 400 meters. So I'm trying to turn the vehicle, and this is a vehicle without tracks. And I'm thinking, about 400 meters? I've had a shot, and I miss him by about 50 meters. Rather disappointed in that shot, and a Chinese M8 nails him then. This is a very hard vehicle to snipe with, and my furthest kill is only about 300 meters away. So there you can see a Panzer 35T and a Panzer 38T. You're going to be seeing the 38T a bit more. He was actually a bit of a pain in the ass. So I tried to stop the vehicle there, but the brakes aren't the best, and, well, he saw that. He saw me drive down that hill. And I'm thinking, well, I ain't got the gun depression, and I don't know what shell he's got loaded. And, yeah. This is the sort of situation you don't want to be in this vehicle. Where the enemy can potentially shoot up into your lower armour, which is only about 10 millimeters thick. Meaning you have to expose yourself. And, yeah. I will say this though, this thing has a very nice camouflage. This vehicle does look... That was a Stuka, suicide bombing a gas truck. But obviously, I'm waiting for him to make the first move, and in a moment he's actually going to turn his turret away, because he thinks that there's an enemy... Well, sorry, no. I take a shot at this Haro. Sorry if I get that wrong. And he now gets brave and starts pushing, which is the right thing to do. Unfortunately, though, this thing's armor is surprisingly good. So at this point, I was thinking, sod it, let's charge him. I can kill him, and... Nope. And he somehow... either that was the artillery or him took out my gunner, but I still have a loader, so it's no big deal. He has no gun barrel, he has no transmission or tracks, and that is the devastation this gun can do. The sound of this thing is simply like Thor's hammer. I honestly... Oh my lord, oh my god, I can't get over this vehicle. It's simply insane that this vehicle actually exists. So coming up is my furthest kill I've ever gotten with this vehicle. This Panzer III. Oh boy. To some this may be a pretty average kill, but this thing is actually pretty good. So I'm guessing at this point I'm thinking of that range, and hits him right at the commander's hatch, and that's kill number 6. However, look at my ammo count. 3 rounds remaining. If it wasn't for that little bugger eating that shot, I would have had 7 on 7, unfortunately, but hey, can't win them all, can we? At this point, my team are actually pushing to capture the A point, and I'm thinking, how can I support them? And this is where I make a bit of a mistake. I should have gone 250 for that range shot, and I only take out the track and fuel tank of that M1340 Series 3. And the reload on this thing, whilst it's actually pretty quick for a derp gun, is not the fastest, but even so, boom goes the dynamite. And there we go. And with that, that's the final kill I got. We ended up winning, and I ended up capping that point with no shells remaining, because I actually fired it at the M1441 you saw a moment ago. So yeah, this vehicle is definitely a barrel of laughs. If you really need some relaxation time after you've had a stressful game, this vehicle is definitely the choice I would make. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys off. I hope you enjoyed today's review on the FM4344, and I'll see you all on the next one.